For the moment, let's turn to what's happening in India. It's election season. Let's bring you up to date with what happened today. Seven days to go for the world's biggest democratic exercise to kick off. The first phase of voting will be on the 11th of April. Political parties are going all out to win votes. Here is today's rally roster. Prime Minister Narendra Modi held 4 rallies today. 3 of them were in India's northeast. His last rally today was in Maharashtra. Arunachal Pradesh, West Bengal and Maharashtra send 92 MPs to the Lok Sabha in all, and they're all critical to the BJP. Party President Amit Shah was in Uttarakhand and Jammu and Kashmir. A total of 11 seats are up for grabs here. And Congress President Rahul Gandhi was also in action today. He was campaigning in Nagaland and Assam, fighting for 16 seats in total in these states. The headline event of the day was in West Bengal. The battle for Bengal is heating up. The Prime Minister kicked off the BJP campaign in the state today. Challenging him was the West Bengal Chief Minister herself, Mamata Banerjee. She moved up. She changed her campaign schedule by a day to take on Narendra Modi. The Prime Minister was the first to open the attack. He began by taking a dig at Mamata Banerjee, calling her a speed breaker on the road to West Bengal's development.
पश्चिम बंगाल में एक स्पीड ब्रेकर है, स्पीड ब्रेकर। इस स्पीड ब्रेकर को यहां के लोग दीदी के नाम से जानते हैं। ये दीदी आपके विकास की स्पीड ब्रेकर है।
Later in the day, the verbal battle shifted to Kolkata. The BJP had organized a mega rally at the city's massive brigade ground. And here the Prime Minister slammed the Congress and the opposition, saying their promises will divide India.
कि कांग्रेस पार्टी ने अपना एक ढकोसला पत्र जारी किया है। इस ढकोसला पत्र में कांग्रेस ने वादा किया है कि सेना का सुरक्षा कवच हटा देंगे। जो कानून आतंकी के प्रभाव वाले क्षेत्र में सेना के जवानों को मदद करता है, उसी कानून को हटा देंगे। ऐसी बात जिन्होंने 60 साल तक देश में राज किया, ऐसे लोग कर रहे हैं।
Mamata Banerjee is taking the battle head-on, calling the Prime Minister a liar. She dared him to a debate. She questioned the BJP's record on agriculture. She claimed the farmer incomes in West Bengal rose by 3 times under her. She also went on to say that 12,000 farmers had committed suicide during the BJP's tenure at the centre.
আমি আজকে শুনছিলাম প্রধানমন্ত্রী বাবু মানে এক্সপায়ারি বাবু মানে প্রধানমন্ত্রী হিসেবে এক্সপায়ারি বাবু এবার থেকে আমিও তাকে প্রধানমন্ত্রী বলবো না, কারণ তার গভর্নমেন্টের এক্সপায়ারি হয়ে গেছে। তাই আমি বলবো এক্সপায়ারি বাবু, এক্সপায়ারি বাবু আপনি আজকে শিলিগুড়িতে বলেছেন, কি বলেছেন? আমাদের গভর্নমেন্ট নাকি গরিবদের জন্য কোনো কাজ করে না। আপনি কি করেছেন 5 বছরে? কৈফিয়ত দিন। আর যদি মনে করেন আপনি যা বলেছেন সত্যি, আসুন আমার সাথে বিতর্কে, ডাইরেক্ট বিতর্কে। আপনি কোয়েশ্চেন করবেন, আমি রিপ্লাই দেবো, প্রমাণ দিয়ে বলে দেবো। রোজ রোজ মিথ্যে কথা বলবেন না। প্রধানমন্ত্রী মিথ্যে কথা বলা নয়, প্রধানমন্ত্রীর শিষ্টাচার, চৌকিদার মিথ্যাচার নয়, এটা মাথায় রাখবেন। 56 ইঞ্চি ছাতি নিয়ে 560 ইঞ্চি মিথ্যে কথা বলে যাচ্ছে।
Let's turn to the neighbouring state. 21 Lok Sabha seats, 147 assembly seats. That is what's up for grabs in the eastern state of Odisha. And national leaders are making a beeline to attract voters in the state because the election is just 8 days away. Assembly elections in Odisha will be held along with the Lok Sabha polls in the first 4 phases. In phase 1, on the 11th of April, polling will be held in 4 Lok Sabha constituencies and assemblies under the jurisdiction of these seats. In the second phase, Voting will take place on 5 Lok Sabha constituencies and the respective assembly seats. That's on the 18th of April. The third and fourth phases will see voting on 6 seats each. Technically, by the end of March, elections will be over in Odisha. That explains why leaders are very serious about the state. Both the major national parties, the Congress and the BJP, are hoping to gain momentum. So who is leading? Is there anti-incumbency in the state of Odisha? After all, Naveen Patnaik has been the chief minister for the last 19 years here. 19. He is one of the longest serving chief ministers in India. Also, there is anti-incumbency against the Modi government. Is there anti-incumbency is the question. What are the issues on the ground here? Will there be a revival in fortunes for the Congress? The main battle is between the Biju Janata Dal of Chief Minister Naveen Patnaik and the Bharatiya Janata Party. Congress, which was once a powerful party in the state, is almost non-existent now. In fact, the BJP has gained from the 11-year-long alliance it had with Naveen Patnaik's party, the BJD. The BJP is now a major opposition party in Odisha. It even has prominent leaders like Dharmendra Pradhan, Jay Panda and Aparajita Sarangi in its ranks. Naveen Patnaik still remains the most popular leader in the state, but his party's influence has waned significantly. Let me explain all of this with numbers. In 1995, the Congress had nearly 40% of the votes. It even formed a government. Biju Janata Dal had over 35% of the vote share. The BJP came a distant third. In 2000, when Naveen Patnaik formed the government, the Congress still had more vote share, but the NDA alliance was a win-win partnership. 30% vote share of the BJD plus 18% of the BJP. That was the beginning of the alliance demolishing the Congress in Odisha. In 2004, when Congress-led UPA ousted the Vajpayee government, Odisha still favoured the NDA. They got 18 seats out of 21. Same in the assembly poll, the NDA ruled. Cut to 2009, the BJD walked out of the NDA. It is from here, 2009, that the politics in the state changed significantly. What was a symbiotic alliance had turned into a political headache for Naveen Patnaik. The BJP had begun to cut his votes. He got them back. He won in 2009, again in 2014. But this is a new election. The anti-incumbency helps the BJP, and Naveen Patnaik will only need to remember what happened to the left front in West Bengal. Parties in power for a long time have often come crashing to the ground. Will that happen this time too? That is the million-dollar question. Elections in India are won on perceptions and issues. Let's get the issues out of the way first. Odisha is rich in minerals and raw materials like coal, iron ore and bauxite. Mining is the bedrock of this state's economy, but production has slowed down. Jobs growth has been lackluster. Starvation deaths are still a reality in Odisha. In a tribal state, businesses still remain with the upper castes. Rural distress, rise in violence against women, allegations of corruption have all hurt the image of the Biju Janata Dal. Next comes perception. The BJP has a clear edge here. It has wooed prominent leaders like Jay Panda. Many BJD leaders who were denied tickets in their own party have now joined the BJP. The party's campaign is full of hope and intensity. Such momentum is not with the Congress party. No such luck there. It doesn't have strong tribal leaders in a state with a majority tribal population. So Odisha will be basically a two-way contest. On the one side, we have Naveen Patnaik and his party, the BJD. On the other side, we have the BJP. For now, the Chief Minister is maintaining equal distance from both the BJP and the Congress, keeping the option of an alliance open with either. His party has a loyal base. It is likely to come on top. But Naveen Patnaik may not have a majority in the Odisha Assembly, and his Lok Sabha seat share may come down while the BJPs may rise. That, in a nutshell, is the state of Odisha. Is there no contest in Telangana this time? Is KCR still the king of Telangana? These questions are significant because just a few months ago, the state gave a rousing response to the Telangana Rashtra Samiti. KCR's party won nearly 88 seats in an assembly of 119, and the TRS, his party, got nearly half of the total votes polled. But no two elections are alike, And assembly elections and Lok Sabha elections are totally different ball games. Besides, Telangana is a young state. It was once carved out of Andhra Pradesh in 2014, and this is their first Lok Sabha election as a state. So why is there a perception that KCR has already won this battle? 1. Welfare measures like the flagship healthcare scheme, Arogyashri, has worked well with people. 2. KCR is the most charismatic leader in the state. The next best is his son, K.T. Rama Rao. 3. KCR is seen as a leader with a rural connect. He speaks the Telangana dialect. He appeals to every voter. 4. People still consider him as the man who spearheaded the movement for a separate Telangana. They credit him for the creation of the state. And that's not all. There are significant takeaways from the recently concluded assembly elections. One of the activists who protested for Telangana's formation was Kodandaraman. His party, the TJS, allied with the Telugu Desam, the Congress and the left in the assembly election. Together they took on KCR. Their math was simple at that time. The traditional Congress voter of Telangana, plus the caste votes of Telugu Desam party, plus the rural voters of the left, and the identity votes due to TJS. Combined, they thought they could oust KCR. They came a cropper. And this explains KCR's near invincibility. The TDP's Chandrababu Naidu and the Congress will be competing against each other in Andhra Pradesh, and a few kilometers away, in neighbouring Telangana, these two parties are allies. The voter will not be fooled though. Besides, there is no strong state leader either in the Congress or the Telugu Desam. Now in the South Indian states, with the exception of Kerala perhaps, votes on the basis of a leader's mass appeal are common. The Congress has no such face in both Andhra Pradesh and Telangana, and Rahul Gandhi does not cut it in Telangana. When the Congress did well in the United Andhra Pradesh, it was due to a mass leader like the late Y.S. Rajshekhar Reddy, also known as YSR. And after his death, the Congress has lost that vote bank. Also, the delay in bifurcation happened under the Congress rule, under UPA, and people still remember that. They do not buy the Congress line. They do not give the Congress credit for the formation of Telangana. On the other hand, KCR plays to the sentiments of the people. He knows how to win elections. The minority vote will go to him thanks to the support of Asaduddin Owaisi's party. And the majority vote is anyway his. After all, KCR is known for conducting many rituals and his belief in astrology. His son is seen as the urban icon in Telangana. So between father and son, they have all the bases covered. K. Chandrasekhar Rao has made this election a priority. He wants a prominent role in national politics. He has made many visits to meet Mamata Banerjee. He has spoken about a federal front. He has converted the Telangana fight as one between national and regional parties. And all of this is going to help him. As things stand, Telangana is all set to unanimously back K. Chandrasekhar Rao. The state has 17 seats. Anything less than 15 for KCR will be seen as a bad result. His party is in pole position and KCR is still the king of Telangana.